What other new world, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. Gonna keep updating y'all with this coronavirus, this global pandemic that's been touching damn near every country, definitely every continent. Now, over in France, it's been crazy where you had Emmanuel Macron, the president, condemning the people for not adhering to the public gathering rules. You have, he actually said he's going to deploy 100,000 police into the streets in order to enforce this. But keep in mind the yellow vest protest, the protest where they're, basically against the economy, the working class economy rules, and upset with the president going and switching up the pension plan and all of that. They're actually in the streets. Thousands of police officers actually met hundreds of the demonstrators this past Saturday in Paris. So it's a frenzy over there, as well as in Italy, where hospitals are getting so overrun. They're going to start having to turning down patients that are 80 years or older of age. And then you have Spain, which is now like the fourth most infected state, with 9,000 confirmed cases, 2,000 within the last day, and 300 deaths. So 183,000 cases confirmed worldwide, with over 7,100 people deceased from the coronavirus. Greenwald and Graduation. The new world, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. New update about the coronavirus and how it's taking the world by storm. Really shaking shit up. You got Fiat Chrysler, PSA Group, and Renault actually shutting down 35 manufacturing facilities across Europe. There's a lot of people, a lot of jobs affected. But it seems like the people want that, because over in Spain, you actually have, there's a video circulating of Mercedes-Benz workers actually going on strike just because they're being forced to work during this pandemic, and they feel like, you got workers worldwide that are feeling like, their companies aren't taking any safety precautions, or the proper ones at least. Over in Canada, you have them actually denying entrance to foreign nationals, with some exceptions including like U.S. citizens, right? And then in Cuba's actually allowing ships to dock that actually have some COVID-19 carriers or coronavirus holders, saying that, it's their human duty to do so. You know what I'm saying? This is after there's a British ship that's out there, been out at sea, being turned down by one country after another, prevented from coming back. They got 5 coronavirus positive patients. Passengers that, and Cuba's gonna allow them to dock. So shout out to Cuba. Greenwald and Graduation. News report of the new world, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So updating y'all about the coronavirus worldwide. Over in the Philippines, you have the president Rodrigo Duterte that's actually decided to put the whole country on, not the whole country, but the whole island of Luzon. This actually contains the capital of the country, Manila. They're putting that whole thing on lockdown. That's 57 million people affected by the virus, and affected by the lockdown. Movement restricted. People are in fear that it's going to devastate the hourly workers who won't be allowed to work and won't be allowed to even leave the house to get any food. Now, over on the continent, the motherland, Africa, you actually have 350 confirmed cases continent-wide, but in South Africa, they declared an emergency, a national disaster rather. In Sudan, they actually locked down all seaports, airports, land crossings. And in Egypt, which actually has the most cases at 160, they're actually suspending all flights as of Thursday. Greenwald and Graduation. The new world, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So dealing with this coronavirus and seeing how the world reacts to it. Over in Latin America, you actually have Chile, which actually has the highest number of coronavirus cases in South America. They're actually closing off their borders, and they're imposing isolation on the citizens, basically telling them to keep to themselves. Now you have Venezuela and Peru that are actually also telling all citizens to stay indoors. And you also in Colombia and Costa Rica, you actually have those nations closing off their borders, preventing people from coming and visiting. But on the brighter side of things, out in China, they actually have reached a milestone where they only had 1 new case in the past day. So that means it's slowing down. He's talking about a place that has over 100,000 infections. You know what I mean? So it's serious over there. So to get down to that in a matter of 3 months, so that every other places should be able to be there in 3 months, and they said they're willing to help and show other people how. Greenwald and Graduation. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So more on the coronavirus and the world right here in the United States reaction to it, where in the U.S. there are 4,500 confirmed cases and 87 deaths. Obviously the total number isn't really known, since we're considered as a nation to have a completely inadequate amount of testing available. Nevertheless, those are the numbers. Trump actually put out a directive yesterday basically saying that we need to take action, avoid public gatherings of 10 or more people, avoid like restaurants, bars, gyms, and other places like that, avoid discretionary travel. So there are schools shut down all across the country, in 37 states and in Washington, D.C. School closings on some level, where it's affecting 37 million students and their families. 6 counties across the San Francisco Bay Area were given the directive of shelter in place, basically keeping people off the streets. You need to have some shelter over your head, get out the streets, and that's affecting 7 million people. Greenwald and Graduation. Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So more on how the United States is reacting to the coronavirus outbreak. You have the Supreme Court actually delaying hearing oral arguments until further notice. It's the first time they've ever delayed something like this since 1918 during the Spanish flu epidemic. And they were actually supposed to hear arguments regarding Trump trying to shield his tax returns and financial documents from lawmakers and a New York prosecutor. But that's another story. Over you have also the airline industry, which Trump has like tweeted out saying, you know, he's going to support them, and you know, we're going to be better than ever or whatever. They're asking for a $50 billion bailout, and so it looks like they're going to get it. You also have Kentucky, which actually delayed its primary elections. You also had Ohio, which was set to actually have its voting booth open, along with Illinois, along with Arizona, along with Florida. At the last minute, Governor Mike DeWine actually ordered officials to close down polling stations, regardless of a federal judge ruling that basically went against the delay in the election. Greenwald and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So salute to Ohio, specifically in Cuyahoga County, where you know, the ACLU, they're celebrating them because they decided to let their prisoners go, while either, like, you know, just dismissing their cases or actually putting them on house arrest. So ACLU and other rights groups are calling for prisons across the country to do the same, follow suit. You have over in New York City, you had an investigator with the Department of Corrections that actually contracted COVID-19, also known as coronavirus, also known as SARS-CoV-2. This person contracted the disease and then died. So people are in fear of, like, you know, this virus getting into the prisons and how they would be able to contain that. Even though this person in particular had limited access and interaction with the prisoners, according to officials. So they are ending in New York City all in-person contact visits with the prisoners. And also in Amazon is hiring an additional 100,000 workers to handle the surge in delivery packaging. Greenwald and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So more on how the U.S. is dealing with the coronavirus. You actually have St. Patrick's Day being canceled in New York City and throughout the country. St. Patrick's Day celebrations in New York City. This is the first time that's happened in 250 years. So it is a big deal. But nevertheless, you have the Kentucky Derby actually canceling its event. You have Major League Baseball. That's actually the latest sporting organization to suspend its season. Amazon is hiring an additional 100,000 workers to actually take on the surge in, like, in-home deliveries, package deliveries. And you have first clinical trials that are actually beginning for the coronavirus vaccine. Could take a year to 18 months to, like, fully validate a vaccine. This comes as the White House actually said that there will be more drive-through test stations and you know, testing coronavirus stations to pop up. And this comes after news came out that the United States tried to, like, buy the coronavirus vaccine as apparently made by a German company, biotech company known as CureVac. They denied that there was even a conversation. Then the owner of CureVac actually said that there was. Report said that there was $1 billion. Trump offered the owner of CureVac $1 billion for the vaccine. The dude said that the vaccine, if it comes out, it's for Germany and it's for the world. So we'll see how that plays out. Green Wall and graduation. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So the stock market actually fell. The Dow actually fell 3,000 points, despite the Federal Reserve actually cutting their interest rates to 0%. The S&P 500 fell by 12%, the largest fall it had since 1987's Black Monday. So a reporter had actually asked Donald Trump, if we're headed to a recession. And he said, well, we may be, but he thinks it would, be a turnaround basically. But that's Trump admitting that we're gonna head into a recession. You know what I mean? And but you also had Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin that basically said that this is a great investment opportunity for long-term investors, which most in financial, because once this shit is over, if God willing, you know what I mean, once the shit is over, things will bounce back to normal and people gonna be trying to get in position to make money, big money trades. You may already be in position. Green Wall and graduation. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Greece on the island of Lesbos, there was actually a 6 or 7-year-old child, girl, that was actually believed to be killed by a fire. This camp, mind you, the capacity, it only has a capacity of like less than 3. Thousand people in the crowded place that only fits 3,000 seems asinine. Green Wall and graduation. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Make sure you check out my mixtape, man, @still_I_grind on Instagram. It's got its own page and it's going to keep having uploads, but it basically got 24-minute runtime of straight heat, me rapping, spazzing on other people's beats, giving y'all songs, giving y'all poetry. You know what I'm saying? Giving y'all the motherfucking blues, giving y'all happy shit too, man. Make sure you check it out @still_I_grind. Still I Grind, the album is on the way. T-shirts available at blackfoxnews.com/shop. Now, over in Israel, President Reuven Rivlin actually has requested opposition candidate Benny Gantz and his Blue and White Party to actually form a coalition government, which is kind of seen as a blow to the Labour Party and current Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who's actually facing 3 corruption charges. Nevertheless, he had got more of the vote for Parliament in this election, this month's election, but the Blue and White Party actually had more major endorsements. So we'll see what happens. Green Wall and graduation. The New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So the United States is actually pulling out U.S. soldiers from several stations over in Iraq due to the back and forth rocket attacks that have actually been taking place out there. I don't want to say all starting, because a lot of this is spilled over from the assassination of Qasem Soleimani, the Iranian Major General, which also was a spillover of just built up tension between the U.S. and Iran for the past decade. Now, over in last week though, in the Taji military base was actually hit with a rocket that actually killed 2 U.S. soldiers, 1 British Army medic, and it injured 12 others. And then U.S. had retaliatory strikes at Iranian-backed militia bases. And then, recently there was like a strike, and U.S. soldiers were actually struck by rockets. So, they're trying to get them the fuck up out of there. But Mike Pompeo, U.S. Secretary of State, is basically saying, like, we will take retaliatory actions if attacked, self-defense actions if attacked. Green Wall graduation. Reporter of the New World Order Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Now, there was a Missouri gas station where a gunman actually went rogue and ended up killing 5 people and then himself. There was a police officer that was actually among the 5 that was killed. There aren't really too many details about the shooting. I'll keep y'all updated later. Green Wall and graduation. For the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So shout out to Maryland. The Maryland House has already approved of this bill, and now the Maryland Senate has officially approved of this $580 million settlement that the state has with its 4 historically black colleges and universities, also known as HBCUs. For you slow motherfuckers out there. Now the HBCUs actually have they'll be getting this money for up to 10 years. So that's $58 million per year that's going to go out to the state's HBCUs. Then that comes out to be $14.5 million per school. Each school will get $14.5 million per year for the next 10 years. So, that's a big thing. Now, we just need some of y'all athletes and ball players to start treating the HBCUs the same way, man. We all we got. Make sure you get you some Black Fox News paraphernalia, too, at blackfoxnews.com/shop, man. Get this, stop the KKK, Kings Killing Kings. You know what I'm saying? Another paraphernalia, different shapes, colors, and sizes, man. Green War and Graduation.